Frescoes on the wall opposite the entrance depict the stories of the Virgin and Jesus' childhood. The scenes are arranged in 2 tiers, illustrating episodes from the Proto-Evangelium of James and the Apocryphal Gospels. The upper tier features 4 scenes. From left to right, you can see the prayer in the temple, the marriage of the Virgin Mary, the Nativity of Jesus, and the adoration of the Magi. On the lower tier, the first scene on the left shows the massacre of the innocents, while the last scene on the right depicts the miracle of the palm. The space above the portal contains a horizontal scene, the miracle of the grain, and the small space to the left and right of the entrance frame a crowned woman and Saint Lazarus respectively. A closer look at these scenes invites reflection and comparison with the scriptures that inspired them. In the prayer in the temple, it's not just the priest Zacharias who receives the divine word. The entire priesthood, including Mary, witnesses the event. The angel directly addresses her, announcing that she will spend 3 years reading, praying, and meditating before becoming the mother of the Saviour. This is a kind of preliminary annunciation that foreshadows the canonical one by the angel Gabriel 3 years later. In the next scene, the marriage of Mary, the priest joins the hands of the young virgin and Joseph. But why does Joseph hold a flowering staff? According to tradition, when a virgin was to marry, any man could present himself as a suitor. In Mary's case, 14 men came forward, each holding a staff. The priest declared that the staff which blossomed would designate Mary's husband. That's why Joseph holds a flowering staff, while another suitor breaks his. In the nativity scene, Saint Joseph is depicted sitting on a stool, engaged in the everyday task of preparing soup and tasting it. As Jesus' foster father, Joseph is not part of the central scene, but is shown in the role of the head of the family. Similarly, in the Adoration of the Magi, he is depicted welcoming the kings, again in the role of the head of the family. The Massacre of the Innocents is the only canonical scene on the lower tier. In the Miracle of the Grain above the portal, the fugitives meet a farmer sowing grain. The child Jesus puts his hand into the basket and scatters a handful of grain on the field, which immediately grows and ripens as if it had been sown a year earlier. When Herod's soldiers, searching for the child to kill him, ask the farmer if he has seen a woman with a child, he replies, "Yes, when I sowed this grain." The soldiers then turn back. Finally, in the Miracle of the Palm in the lower right corner, the Virgin sees a palm tree and desires one of its fruits. In his mother's arms, the child commands the tree, "Tree, lower your branches." The palm lowers its leaves, allowing them to pick the fruits. It is said that the Virgin was so astonished by this miracle that her exclamation of surprise, her "Oh," was imprinted on all date stones.